Welcome to the Neurodivergent Experience podcast, a podcast where we share the lived experiences of neurodivergent people to help create a better understanding for our community.
Join us every week as we bring you honest, raw, and inspiring conversations with specialists, advocates, and individuals who know exactly what it's like to live the neurodivergent experience.
I'm Jordan James, a neurodivergent specialist, father of neurodivergent children, husband to a neurodivergent wife, and author of The Autistic Experience, and I'm joined by my best friend.
I'm Simon Scott. I'm an autistic ADHD broadcaster, actor, and advocate. Join us as we journey into unraveling the neurodivergent experience.
Well, hello, Mr. Scott. And how are you? How
Mr.
are you this
James.
week?
I am very good, my friend. Do you want to know why? By the time this episode comes out, I will have the keys to my house.
Allegedly.
Fuck. Allegedly. I'll believe it when I see it.
Earthquakes, storms. Who knows?
World War III. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, seems the most likely.
Yes. As I pick up the keys, the mushroom cloud will absorb me and then it'll be fallout. Hopefully, by the time that this episode comes out, my friend, I will have my keys and then we'll move on to that and just live with, living out of boxes for a little bit again, just somewhere different and all of the fun that comes with being unsettled and being neurodivergent and moving house. But other than that, my friend, I am very, very good. Trying not to read the news. How are things with you?
Well, we'll get on to how things are with me when we get onto the topic. But just on the back of last week's episode, we're talking about my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle obsession. I'd rather call it a special interest than obsession, but it has culminated.
Oh.
Is that the word? Culminated? That word? In me buying the other pair of the trainers. So that thing where I was like, it didn't cost me that much. It kind of ended up costing me more, double, in fact, because there's 4 trainers. I say 4 trainers because it's like 2 pairs of trainers. But the reason why I say 4 trainers is because now we have all 4 turtles in trainer form, and they are very, very special. I encourage anyone to go and check them out. They're the Lamello Ball, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Puma special editions.
You bought Pumas. That's a change of brand warfare for you. Remember the last time I mentioned Pumas, you were like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I still am, but I mean, you should see they're turtles, man. I mean, obviously, I prefer Jordan turtle trainers, but they're not a thing. But I'll tell you what, though, I'll give Puma their credit. These are incredibly comfortable, to wear. They look incredible. And it's all the little tiny features that, and it's making me think, and I kind of think this anyway, that LaMelo Ball, the basketball player, is definitely neurodivergent. And it says on them, not from here. And that's his whole deal, is that he feels like he's not from this planet. Like he's an alien. He's not from here. And I'm like, these suit me so well. And it's got loads of little funky features on the trainers, such as on the back of them, they have each of their weapons.
Oh, nice.
In like tiny little form on the back. They've got each weapon. On the front, on the tongue, each one's got their own headband, and the first letter of their name. They're like red, purple, blue, and orange. And if you look inside, there's a picture of the turtle.
I love shit like that. It tickles a part of my brain, man, that just nothing else can.
If you hold the 2 trainers up, it says not from here.
Sweet.
So it's all really nice, and the boxes are amazing. They're collector's editions. They're collector's items, and I kind of just look at them going, I don't want to wear them. I don't want to wear them.
I get that.
But I'm going to wear them. But every time I come home, I'm going to get like baby wipes and just clean them all up.
I've been there. I'm like that with a pair of my golf shoes.
But yeah, that's that. But yeah, there's a reason I bought the other pair, and it isn't really the fact that shiny thing syndrome. It was actually due to copious amounts, unimaginable amounts of anxiety that I have had this week. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about anxiety, sickness, and how to cope with it. Before I just offload on everyone about my week, what's the anxiety been like for you with moving house and because now you've got your keys? That must have that leads to a whole new type of anxiety of responsibility, perhaps.
You know, it's you've hit a good point there, because it's changed, right? So obviously we've had this issue of, you know, we were told from a lot of reliable sources that we should have been in this house in December. So we planned a lot of our life around it. We took a month off of this podcast in January. My partner is trying to figure out whether she wants to stay at her job or not, because obviously her commute's going to be changing big time, going from walking on foot 15 minutes into town to 20-mile car journey. So there are a lot of variables, you know, that we're trying to think about in creating a low demand lifestyle. And I pushed back loads of work projects to March because I was like, you know, that's when it'll all be sorted. That's when it'll all be fine. And the whole thing has been a shit show. And I feel like I have given up so much autonomy to just strangers, just random people I've not even really met in person. You know, I've not met my solicitor in person. I've just spoke to her on the phone. And it's an awful lot of my life I just handed over to people. And I have genuinely been carried, even though I've been happy and enjoying life and you know, had counselling through Time to Talk, and I've had therapy with Ashley. I'm working on it, and I've been consistently really happy. But I have carried a cannonball of a knot in my stomach since about November. And it has been heavy, and there have been times where I have really had like bad headaches, and I've had mood swings, and I've been like I've not had a meltdown, but I felt like I could have had a meltdown loads of times, and I've really had to like manage it and stim and self-soothe and practice mindfulness and go for a walk. And suddenly I got an email 10 days ago, and dude, I wept. I literally had my leakage, and I could feel this knot in my stomach just completely unravel, because I got the email from my solicitor that went 14th of March. That's when you'll have your keys. And as you said, suddenly that anxiety is gone. Oh shit, I've got to get a moving van sorted, and I've got to get into the house, and I've got to do this and do that and do this. And the weight of responsibility. Suddenly, I even said it to my partner on the sofa last night, I now feel like an adult. I used to feel like a boy in a little mushy body that was getting older. And now I feel like a man, right? Like dealing with this solicitor and going to fight and, you know, doing it for my little family that I'm building with Caris. I do really feel like a man now. And suddenly there is a weight of responsibility that I didn't feel before. And if I think about it too much, it does make me anxious. So it has been a really big learning experience, and I feel like I've coped with it really well. But the anxiety that I've had around the move is morphing into something else. And I'm not sure what it is yet, but I am preparing myself for the fact that it is going to be a very stressful, chaotic, unsettling couple of months. But there's not a lot I can do about it. I've just got to get through it.
I think when it comes to something like that, anxiety itself is an evolutionary reaction to that sort of fight or flight, and it either stops you from doing things, or it, you know, makes you do things to get rid of it. So it can go both ways. And I think when it comes to anxiety for having to do something in particular, at least you can pinpoint why it exists.
Yeah, you know where the dread's coming from, right?
Yeah. So in a way, that kind of that satisfies that need to understand that, you know, us NDs have, like that desperate need to have an answer to every freaking question you can possibly ask.
Yeah.
And I think the worst type of anxiety, and this is the irony of it, is the anxiety of having anxiety. So you have this anxiety, but you can't pinpoint it. You don't know why. It's kind of like you're in a really foul mood, but you don't know why. It could be like a number of things. You just are in a foul mood, and you're like, was it this? And it's the same as like if I hurt my back sometimes I know exactly why I hurt my back. Sometimes I'm like, well, what did I do? So I can then avoid it, or I can do it differently in the future. And I think it's not having the answer to, why am I feeling sick? Because there's many forms of anxiety. And I want to be clear that anxiety is very different from worry. Being worried about things, everybody gets worried about things. Having anxiety,
it's natural to feel worry.
Yeah, but anxiety is that extra level where it starts to really affect your health. You know, worry causes stress, but anxiety is more stressful for me anyway. That's how I view it. And when I start getting anxiety, and I start getting anxiety sickness, that's when it really, really screws me up, because I feel ill, like so sick in my stomach, and my heart rate goes up. And I'm just doing nothing, and suddenly my heart rate flies up, and I start feeling sick, and my stomach hurts so much, and my head starts spinning. It is disastrous in those moments. And that's the worst of it. And the very least of it, I feel super sick. Like that feeling where you just haven't eaten like for a whole day or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like almost like faint. I got up a bit quick the other day because I had our flat building manager ring me, and I was feeling anxious anyway that day. And I flew up to get the phone, and I thought I was going to faint because my head literally just went like, like I just got up too quick. And I've never really experienced that before. And off the back of that, I was then on the loo for like 10 minutes because my stomach just went, and it was horrible, really horrible feeling. And yeah, it sucks that you've kind of been feeling that this week, dude. Like, because I don't know what causes it. It just like comes. I almost feel like the closest example that I can feel to like how mine manifests, you know, you were saying like you get headache and your stomach feels really, really crap. I get shakes. Almost like I've got stage fright. Like I feel my hands start to like wobble, and then I'm really self-conscious about it. And then I just go nonverbal.
Yeah, I obviously all the stuff with Trump, all the stuff with Ukraine, it's to me, it's very worrying. It's very stressful. It's very frightening. And the crazy thing is I'm not frightened for me. Like that's the thing. I'm not sitting here going, I'm terrified because my life might change. That is not what I'm afraid of. That's not what the anxiety exists for as far as that's concerned. With the anxiety that's being caused by what's going on in the world, it's purely down to like an overload of empathy. So there's that bullshit idea that we don't feel empathy. And it's such horseshit.
It's almost laughable now, isn't it? That it's crazy.
I feel too much, so I have to shut it down. Like I can't feel empathy for everything because the level in which I feel empathy is so much greater than a neurotypical. So much greater. In the way that I am sensitive to bright lights, or sensitive to sounds, or sensitive to touch more than a neurotypical. I am sensitive to feelings and I'm sensitive to empathy, a heightened sense of it, right?
Yeah.
So I can shut it down, but oh my God, I am raw, like an open wound of empathy right now, because I have serious FOMO, fear of missing out. I've got and I can't not watch the news. And I don't mean like, well, I mean, they got the news outlets, but like,
you've got to be informed though. You've got to know what's going on.
I have to watch, YouTube. I have to see what's going on. And it's nuts. Like, I'm not going to go into it. That's not what we're talking about. Everybody knows what's going on.
But how it makes you feel, we need to talk about.
I just keep imagining all the people, especially kids. But it's Ukraine, and then Trump is using it as a business levy. Like, he's taking away their support of Ukraine. I mean, not only are they blaming Ukraine for a war, which is just the most disgusting thing. That makes me physically sick just in general. But it's the fact, it's lives. These are people's lives. And he's talking about money. Any money.
What you
and
can
resources.
Do for us, and it's
what can we get out of helping you?
And then asking for you're welcome. Yeah.
What the actual fuck? What the hell happened to kindness?
This is the thing that I've found really difficult about just reading the news in general. As somebody who used to work in news, I can tell you that 10% of what's happening, and the amount of times where like news stories would break and it go, this is happening on the border of so-and-so. And I'd be like, that happened 2 weeks ago. It used, honestly, the anxiety of being in a newsroom and kind of knowing what was happening in the world broke me. Like, I used to come home and be like, I remember somebody saying to me once, the less you know, the better you sleep at night. And that's why I don't sleep. And this was a guy I used to work with in news. And he used to be haggard, man. And it is really frightening, especially like when you're a student of history and I keep looking at the news and going, I've seen this one before. You know, it is really frightening when you see, fascism and controlling the media and the press starting to leak in with certain statements that are coming out from the White House and the Make America Healthy Again bill. There is layers of eugenics in that language. And it is a really frightening time. I've got a couple of American friends, and every time I see them, my heart goes out to them. And if you're listening to this and you're in America and you're frightened for your future of your country and your children, you have my empathy. You have my sympathy. It's so difficult to watch people that I love and care about. And, a country I've had a lot of love in. And I've been to America multiple times, the East Coast, West Coast, and the South. And I've had a lovely time and met lovely people every single time. And it's you're not even talking about it. It's making me feel a bit upset.
Yeah, but, some of my very, very good friends, some people that we've like had Brett on this podcast. Yeah, Brett, Lyric, Macy, the late Steve Silberman. Like who was fighting against all this oppression so hard with his Facebook page. I wish he was still here.
Could use a bit of his wisdom right now, couldn't we?
Oh, just any wisdom. And I see the Neurodivergent Rebel fighting for trans rights.
Yeah, if you're on Facebook or
so desperate,
go follow the Neurodivergent Rebel because they are making some really important statements and putting some really good news about how we, as not just our community as neurodivergent people, but other cultures, other races, how we can all help each other and support each other in this difficult time. We do really need to come together.
It is, and I think that is the worst thing about the anxiety is that because my wife will say, "Look, just stop watching, just stop watching," and everyone's advice is just stop watching. And even when I do, like I have a break and I go, okay, I won't watch anything today. I'll just watch Turtles, or I'll just watch the Goldbergs, or I'll just watch some basketball. I'll just do something different. I can't stop thinking. I'm like, okay, what the hell has happened now? What's going to happen now? And I have to look because the anxiety of not looking is actually worse than actually knowing, even though knowing is making me feel sick. Not knowing is making me feel even sicker. So I'm just in a perpetual state of just randomly just feeling sick. The worst thing as well is that I had a welfare check, which was long overdue at my work. And I'd been promised a welfare check for a long time. And I got a new manager came in and he's pushed this. And it was basically, it's like, okay, tell us about you, like in more detail so we can have everything in writing. Because my manager's always been supportive. But this is a new manager and he has been very supportive, and his way of being supportive was, okay, let's get everything on paper. But in the past, when somebody has done that, a manager that I did not like, who it was used against me.
Yeah, accommodations turned into accusations, right?
Yeah. Like, oh, can you do your job? And
right.
And there was a little bit of that in this, but it was more of like, in this extreme circumstance that will never ever happen, could you handle it? And I was like, well, yeah. I've been in security for 24 years.
And we're also great under high pressure situations, which people seem to forget as well.
Yeah. And I know, and I've been doing my job currently for 10 years, and I've been at the company in the same building for 17 years. But the thing is, it's a tick boxing exercise. Like everything else
Sometimes you've just got to play ball.
But in my brain, my stomach, because they're equally connected at this moment in time, it was a shit show because I just kept getting that PTSI, that's injury, not disorder, from being screwed over in the past. And the reason I ended up getting depressed in 2018 was because my autism was blamed like it was a disease infecting me. I made a mistake and my autism was blamed. It was my autism's fault, and I was
we need to fix
under
that.
scrutiny.
Yeah.
And I got asked the stupid question of, where on the spectrum are you?
Oh, fuck's sake.
And literally was told by this particular manager, I know all about autism. My next door neighbor has 2 kids with autism and we did a fun run for them. Oh, that makes you a fucking expert. But at the time, I know, but this was 2018. I wasn't long past my diagnosis, and I was very, very scared.
Understandable.
And I didn't understand autism, and I started hating autism. I was like, this is the thing that's ruining my life. I just want to be able to do my job. And I literally used the phrase in a meeting with this man. I said, I'm leaving my autism at the gate when I come to work so I can do a good job.
Dude.
And he said, that's wonderful. What a fantastic improvement.
God.
And he made me feel so shit about being autistic.
Masking sickness as well.
It led to the worst depression I have ever had. But on the brighter side, that led to my photography to get out of the depression, which led to my Facebook page, which led to my advocacy, which leads us to here and everything I know. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this arsehole.
But it'd be nice if you didn't have to go through it, wouldn't it?
But when somebody else says, okay, it's been a long time, we want to do a welfare check, but it's it's to help you. My whole body's going like, fuck it is.
Yeah.
But time will tell. I was very careful with everything I said in that particular meeting. I mean, I know my rights and I know what I'm talking about. And I know a billion times more than I did the first time I had a welfare meeting. And in the welfare meeting, it really did feel like they were there to help me. I mean, they'd be mad not to, because, but it doesn't stop, because anxiety doesn't have logic. And that's the point, is it kind of takes on a form of its own. My anxiety,
it's just in the mind, isn't it?
My anxiety, unlike my autism, isn't part of me. It's something that invades me and takes over me when my brain just starts messing around. And then somehow this anxiety, it does feel like an invading force, like I've got some sort of flu, like a virus that's like an external source. Because I worry, I get a bit stressed by things, but especially lately, especially because of Ashley and and my mindfulness techniques and things like that, I have been feeling so good. Everyone listening to this podcast knows that I've had a huge change in my demeanor and the way that I don't lose my temper anywhere near as much. And the thing is, all this anxiety, it still didn't lead to any meltdown. any outbursts. I didn't feel angry at all.
Which is a huge win, man.
Yeah, huge because normally it absolutely would. It absolutely would, because I've also been very, very tired as well.
And the anxiety that comes off the back of a meltdown as
well.
well.
Oh, God, yeah, that's even worse.
Even worse.
I've managed to stay super cool and just try and get through it as best I can. But even this morning, I had anxiety about talking about my anxiety.
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? It's like I've kind of coined it as the feedback loop from hell. When I was first feeling like really depressed I felt depressed before that, but really depressed in like 2016, I read a book by Mark Mason, which is called The Secret Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, I should say. And he talks about that in that book, the feedback loop from hell, where you get anxious about being anxious and you worry about worrying. And it's like you feed one to feed the other, and you just end up in this loop. And that's what I used to do with my anxiety. And it is crazy how it completely overcomes you. Like the worst anxiety feeling that I've ever felt in my life was stage fright. And it wasn't because I was afraid I was going to forget my lines, which is really anxiety inducing when you're doing Shakespeare and you've got 40 minutes of dialogue in your head for a part. It was the fact that there was somebody on my course that was bullying me, and I had to go and stand on in a stage in front of him, and he was sat on the front row with his arms crossed, literally praying for my demise. And that feeling is sort of like, when I go into a meeting and I sometimes feel like the person on the opposite side wants me to lose, I get the same feeling. It's that PTSI. It's I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to forget my lines and what I'm going to say, and I'm just going to stand here and go mute. And it almost, by thinking about it, brings it into existence. And that's what I think is really cruel, is that I'm worrying about the bad thing happening, but because I'm thinking about it, I'm almost manifesting it. And I just get stuck in this loop of going, please don't worry. But now I'm worrying about worrying. And now I'm anxious, and I get stuck in this like loop, and I just go nonverbal, and I feel really like embarrassed, and then shame comes in. And then that's where the feeling of depression and being really down comes from. And it's just like creating buffers and almost like stopping myself and going, oh, you're on the feedback loop from hell again, Si. Like, let's try and put things into place. And I feel like it's only since we started doing this podcast, and I've been in counseling again, and I've had a lot of breakthroughs with that, especially around the feelings of shame. And it does feel a lot better. But when you look at the outside world, I have no control over that. And that can be extremely, extremely frightening. But when we take a little break, just in a moment now, we will come back and we will try and see what we can do and how we can help our anxiety.
This episode of the Neurodivergent Experience is brought to you by RTN Mental Health Solutions. With up to a 5-year waiting list for autism and ADHD assessments via the NHS, and that's even if you get a referral from your GP, getting an assessment in the UK has never been harder. So if you're like me and can't wait anymore, going private may be the best option for you. RTN offers online assessments for kids aged 6 right up to adults, with prices starting at £900. To make it more accessible, RTN can offer payment plans up to 5 months. You can access their remote services from the comfort of your home anywhere in the UK, and RTN offers group and one-to-one counselling, a private route to access ADHD medication following the assessment, and will even fight for you if your GP doesn't accept the results. So if you live in the UK and can't wait to get an assessment, go to www.rtnmentalhealthsolutions.com and use the discount code RTN23, making it even more affordable for all of our listeners to get an autism and ADHD assessment.
You are listening to the Neurodivergent Experience with Simon Scott, and I'm with my best friend, Mr. Jordan James. And today we are talking about anxiety sickness in a world that is full of anxieties and worries at the moment. It's incredibly overwhelming. It's incredibly overwhelming, the thought of being a bottom-up processor and then seeing the world in the way that it is. I am feeling every facet of it. But one of the things that I am doing to try and navigate this is I can read it on the news. I can sort of formulate my own opinion. I very much like to hear the opinions of other people, whether they're, right wing, left wing, centrist. I like to hear what people are thinking to form my own opinion. Because I think if I only listen to one side, then I can't, formulate an opinion against something else that I disagree with. And I am only really watching the news if I have to. Like, I didn't actively go and watch the Zelensky-Trump car crash with JD Vance, but I did try and stay informed of it. But I don't want to scroll through YouTube shorts and see people being reactionary. I don't want to, go on YouTube and see independent people talking about this stuff and psychoanalyzing it and pulling it apart like it's a guy checking Easter eggs for a Marvel movie. That is what really spins me when all of my habits and hobbies become consumed with all of this really negative energy sort of stories. And I want to be really informed. But when I go on Instagram, I try my best to try and formulate my algorithm to kind of just show me sports, show me music, show me memes, and not be so news heavy, because that's what Twitter's for. That's what, BBC News and things like that are for me personally. So I try and create a level of separation from this stuff, because I find again, if I feed it, I get in the feedback loop from hell. So I almost have to give myself breaks, even though I know that's a very first world problem of just being just don't look at the news. It doesn't mean it's not happening, but I wouldn't say I get FOMO like you do with it. I can kind of turn my brain off to it.
I've been trying, and there's, I think the other thing that I started watching Jimmy Fallon, and, and I noticed that SNL was doing things, and they're trying to bring a humorous side to it because it is so scary. And they have said this, they're it is really terrifying, but we're just trying to bring, a bit of joy, a bit of light, and a bit of humor to the whole thing. And I think I was kind of on their side with the whole thing. I was some of it does need a bit of lighthearted comedy.
It's got to be cathartic, isn't it?
But after I saw what happened to Zelensky, after I cried inside, and then I saw SNL did a sketch of what happened in the White House. Now I didn't see it. I just saw the image, the thumbnail. I saw the thumbnail, and I was like, gross. That is gross. That is not something to make light of. That is not funny ever. I would love it, absolutely love it, if after all of what has happened, Trump actually turned out that he was actually a really good guy, and he actually did really good things, and he actually did help. So I can't even imagine a world where that was the case, right? But I would love it. Because I know that there's people that support him would be like, but you'd love it if he failed, and that you want the world to burn. I'm like, no, I don't. That's the point. That's what I'm scared of. I would love it if Trump actually turned out to be the fucking hero of all of this, and used his power to absolutely end all wars and all poverty and do everything that he said he was going to do. But he's not going to do that. He's a liar. He's always been a liar. He's always been a grifter. He's a con man who's failed multiple businesses into the ground. He is failing the entire economy of America into the ground. And even Fox News is like, damn, dude, this is bad. This is bad. He is bad. So I'm not going, yay, Trump's failing. I'm going, oh my God.
Whoever's in charge, whether I couldn't
care less if it was Trump or
I want them,
freaking Mickey Bloody Mouse.
I want it to go well. I want the world to be in a good place. This is the thing of not being able to control anxiety sickness, because you can't control other people. All you can do is enter a dialogue with them, try and understand them, be understood, And it's really difficult. I mean, there's a exercise that I use regularly that I read in a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which was more about like business management and things like that. And in it, I read this sort of diagram. I've talked about it before, which is like the circle of influence and the circle of control. And in the circle of influence is what time I get up that day, what do I eat, who do I talk to, do I listen to them? And it's all the things that I can do something about. And then there's the circle of control, which is how the president of the United States behaves, and the laws and regulations, and why there's only one autistic charity in the UK that actually gets any notice, and things like that, things that I don't have control of. And it's just trying to like keep my thoughts more in the circle of influence than the circle of control. And I try and practice it every single day. And like the things that I have influence over is like my news feed and how I talk to people and, things like that. But then again, in the circle of control is my empathy. And I'm watching and reading stuff, and sometimes it's killing me. And I'm just trying to like fill my life with things, not that aren't like distracting, but just make me happy. Like I just try and play video games. I'm playing golf on Saturday with a buddy of mine, and I'm going to put my phone in my golf bag and not read it for 5-6 hours.
Oh, I'm glad you said
just
that,
have a bit of escapism.
I'm doing the same sort of thing. I'm putting my phone away. I'm not going to go near my tablet, which is, where I would watch YouTube and things like that, or on the telly. I'm going out. It's been lovely weather.
Thank God, I needed it. Seasonal depression is real until I didn't believe it until a ray of sunshine hit me the other day, and I felt like Superman getting charged up. I was just like, oh, this is beautiful.
Oh, it feels so good. But yeah, I've been at work in an office for 4 days, and this is my first day off, and I'm just going to be like, okay, this is going to be great. So I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning just because I kind of felt like I just want to, I went for a pee, but then I kind of had that. I stood at the top of the stairs and looked downstairs, and then looked back towards my bedroom downstairs. And I thought, if I go downstairs, I'm going to start watching a basketball game. Lakers. Oh yeah, baby. They won. Luke has been amazing. And I'm like, or I could just go back to sleep, but I'll probably just lay there and think about wanting to watch the Lakers game anyway. So I was like, if I go down and I'll watch the Lakers game at 5 o'clock in the morning, and if I feel tired, I will pause it and I will just lay down on my lazy boy and I'll go to sleep. And I've done that before, but I wasn't tired. And I just wanted to enjoy the fact that I wasn't working after doing a 48, because I do 12-hour shifts, and that's like, and you put on like an hour and a half of driving. So it's like a 13-and-a-half-hour day. They're long days. And, and being in charge and everything and all the responsibility that, and plus all this other stuff that was going on that was supposed to help me. And I really hope that it does help me. But all of that, it has just been a very, very stressful week. And I was just like, okay, it's my first day off. So I thought I'd just enjoy most of it. Lakers won. And then Sylvia came down and we watched the Celtics game. I've watched a lot of basketball. And then I'm doing this with you. I had a bath this morning.
Again, something so simple, little accommodation you've made for yourself.
Oh, dude, that bathroom is just my zen place. I love it so much. And I've just been having so many baths, and I had another one this morning. I kind of started getting anxiety sickness again, which was a bit weird. My heart rate went up, which kind of the opposite to what I wanted to happen from it. But again, I don't really have a lot of control over that. But I think just sitting here with you, which like 5 minutes before I got on, I was like, I'd still feel sick. I don't particularly want to do this, but I was just going to do it anyway. But the more I've talked about everything, and, sorry for all you listeners having to hear my rants, whether you agree with it's not even politics, it's just my morality, whether you agree with my side of morality or not. The fact is that I'm scared. Whether you believe what Trump is doing is right or wrong is irrelevant to how I feel. And this is my autistic, my ADHD, my neurodivergent experience that I am conveying of why I feel sick. The more I talk about it, the better I feel, which is why therapy is so good. In a weird way, we've always said this is like therapy for us.
Has its moments, but this is one of the things that, like, when we're talking about what we can do to help this, there's a variety of things, in my opinion. Therapy for me has been a lifesaver for me multiple times.
Yeah, I've already booked a session with Ashley.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And I also have been seeing more than one therapist.
Oh, you cheating bastard.
I know. Double the trouble, double the fun. And speaking to Camille from Time to Talk in Manchester, I've just finished speaking with her. I had 8 sessions. And the work we've put in and the progress that I've found, I feel very wise for a 30-year-old. And where I'm at in my level of being able to advocate as well, I'm very, very proud of myself. I had a situation at work the other day, working in this bar. I still do a couple of shifts there. There's a young girl who works with me. She walked through the door with a sunflower lanyard on. And I went, cool. And you know what was funny? The more I worked with her, the more I was unmasking at work. And I actually really, really enjoy her company. She turned up to work 5 minutes late the other day. And the guy I work with wasn't checking his watch, but he was aware that she was late. And she came through the door and she was like, oh, I'm really sorry. I just got anxious and had tummy troubles. And I kind of jumped in between him and the other manager. And I went, that's no problem. I says, there is absolutely no shame with having tummy troubles from your anxiety. You need anything today, you let me know and I will try and accommodate you the best I can. But please don't feel embarrassed that you're late because you've got a bad tummy. And she just went, oh, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And I kind of turned to the manager and I was just like, that's an ND thing. She can't help that. I said, that's just something that's something that you've just got to accommodate. They may be 5 minutes late, but I promise you, she'll make up for it tonight with how she works. And she did, because she's awesome. And I was really proud of myself that I could help somebody's anxiety in that moment. And that is one of the things that I think we as a community, as a people, need to do for each other. We need to advocate for each other and step in and accommodate and sometimes help people when, the disabilities arise. And that's something, when you were saying about community, I think that would be a really good thing for my anxiety sickness if somebody that I worked under was autistic and went, I see what you're going through and it's okay. Like that is a really big relief, would be a huge relief for me with a lot of my anxiety sickness. And I'm just trying to pass it on and do the best I can to help people.
That is just, I love it when you tell me stories like that, because I love seeing how much you've grown, man. It's why I so enjoy working with you, because you are reaching that potential, of which, by the way, there is no lid on that potential. You have so much more that I knew you would. And there is no part of me that's like, how I was right. It's yes. He can see that I was right. Like you believed in yourself like I believed in you. And that means so much.
Yeah. But it's took work, therapy, counseling, believing in myself, putting it into practice.
Yeah. It is a journey.
It's a journey and I'm not even halfway there.
No, you're not even close, man. You're just gonna keep soaring high. It's gonna be awesome. And you, the audience, are gonna be participating in that, because you are going to see him grow, and you are part of Simon's growth because of your listens, because of your support.
Yeah, massively.
Because we have this platform with 44,000 downloads in a year. And I just wanted to mention that we now have been doing this. That's right. We've been doing this a year now. It's March.
Yeah, over a year. Yeah.
Yeah. So hooray, we're anniversary.
And I hope that like our conversations, and I have a review for us before we take a break and get to this week's hot topic, which definitely isn't going to be political. I really hope that people can see my journey, see my growth through going through this unmasking process, see the authenticity of our friendship and how, we help each other. Just letting you have a space to kind of just let out what you're struggling with.
Offload.
But, that is a really important thing that you can do for somebody, be an outlet for somebody, be a listener for somebody. And I hope that the relationship with our listeners, you listening, is reflected. I hope by us talking about it, it helps you. It gives you a space to go, oh, it's not just me that's feeling like this. I'm not alone in this, because you so aren't. You know, there are so many of us that have the similar sorts of struggles, and, you know, our disabilities are all different in so many different ways, but trauma and how we're treated and ostracization, there are so many things that connect us. And I hope that us being here and having an outlet for somebody to listen to know that they're not alone in this is helping them with their anxiety sickness. I really, really do. I hope it helps.
So, one good thing that did happen this week, because of my anxiety and trying to just make myself feel better, was the fact that I actually made posts of like actual writing posts rather than just pictures or just like a phrase or something like that. I actually wrote 3 articles, all of which were received hugely and apparently helped a lot of people, because I was just writing about myself as an autistic ADHD individual. And yeah, it's been a while since I sat down and just started writing about my life again. And it felt really good. And just like to have like a couple of hundred comments of people just being really appreciative of it, you know, and just like that felt really good, knowing that my words were genuinely helping people. And so that was a good thing. And I was doing that because of the state the world is in. And I feel like, you know, I don't know, logical thinking people are somehow under attack. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try and make some people feel good, and that's what I did, and it worked. So, you know, out of the darkness, there's always some light. You just got to find it. So, what is our review? Is it how annoying I've been lately?
No, not at all. So yeah, if you ever want to, leave us a review, Spotify has the rating thing of 5 stars, and we've got 82 of them. So very, very grateful for that. Thank you. And it's the same on Apple Podcasts. You know, we've got 5-star reviews as well. And somebody has left us a review from the United States, which is Bearded PS from the United States, who has said that 5 stars isn't enough. I was diagnosed with ADD when I was a kid, but as I have gotten older, I suspect I am also autistic. I have requested evaluations on and off for the past 10 years and was being told that my provider didn't evaluate adults for autism. Fast forward to a couple of weeks, and with the same provider and a different therapist, which is very important, I have an evaluation at the end of March. I started to binge the Neurodivergent experience, and it took about a week and a half, but I am all caught up. And I can say I identify with most, if not all, that is discussed. This podcast is by far the leader on the topic. Keep it up, friends. And we will. And we will. We ain't going anywhere. So that means an awful lot. Thank you very, very much. And
big time.
Yeah, this is why we do it. The whole reason as to why I wanted to do this podcast from the start was that I'm making it for me 5 years ago when I needed it. And I really hope that it brings you, I feel a bit emotional reading that. But yeah, I really hope that it brings you some peace and a bit of love. So, right, let's get to a little breaky break, and we will do the hot topic.
Have you ever felt stuck in patterns that don't serve you? Struggled with stress or wanted to connect more deeply with yourself? Then I have to introduce you to a friend of the podcast, Ashley Bentley of Integrated Coaching, Breathwork and Hypnotherapy. Ashley is a highly experienced clinical hypnotherapist and coach specializing in working with neurodivergent minds. Through a unique blend of integrative coaching, breathwork, and hypnotherapy, Ashley helps people rewire subconscious patterns, regulate their nervous systems, and step into more empowered versions of themselves. Whether you're dealing with addiction, anxiety, burnout, or struggles with self-acceptance, Ashley offers practical and science-backed tools tailored just for you. Her unique methods combine neuroscience, storytelling, and subconscious transformation to create real, lasting change. Jordan and I can personally attest to the profound and transformative effects of her sessions, which have been life-changing. She does all of these sessions online, meaning she can work with you no matter where you are in the world. If you're ready to break free from old patterns and start living with more clarity, confidence, and connection, go to bit.ly/AshleyNDE to book a free consultation or learn more.
Oh, hot, 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 hot! Hot, 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 hot!
Hot topic.
Breaking news. You've gone quiet. Why have you gone quiet? You're muted.
Yeah, now I'm not. Someone else muted me.
Sorry about that.
You muted me. Unbelievable. The hot topic is that Simon muted Jordan. He's had enough. He's had enough of listening.
I finally had enough. Finally reached breaking point. No, I'm joking.
What is the hot topic?
So while people couldn't hear you, there's also a certain gentleman that people can't see by the name of John Cena.
You can't see me. You can't see me.
The leader of the C Nation, Mr. Put my teeth in. Mr. Hustle, Loyalty and Respect himself has gone to the dark side, my friend.
I have no idea what John Cena even looks like. I've literally never seen him.
It's just Peacemaker.
No, I know.
Oh, for God's sake. Fell for my own joke there. Anyway,
so
yes,
autistic.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all right.
Yes, so Mr. John Cena is currently on 16 World Championships, which is the tied record with Ric Flair.
Yeah, because they're all real.
Yes, absolutely. And let's not. I will mute you again. So he's on his retirement tour. He has said that in January you won't see me again because he is going to be retiring, going into Hollywood full time, and he has been a good guy, the face of the WWE since 2003. And he has been Mr. Superman. He has always turned up and saved the day. Whether you booed him or cheered him, he has always been a hero. And he is, in autistic culture, a huge, huge icon because there are an awful lot of autistic children and adults that absolutely love this man.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's awesome.
You know, hustle, loyalty, respect. These are three, key ingredients to living a Fruity Pebbles life.
Yeah, even though I don't know what he looks like, I love him.
And the dirty bastard. Honestly, Elimination Chamber in Canada. This generation's John Cena, Cody Rhodes, adrenaline in his soul, the blonde American himself. He is this generation's good guy. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is now this generation's Vince McMahon. He actually is on the board of directors at WWE. And the dastardly bastard has asked Cody Rhodes for his soul and wants him to be his corporate champion, just like Vince McMahon made him his corporate champion all those years ago.
They're the most realistic storylines that have ever existed.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like Dynasty.
Yeah, it is. It is, mate.
It's literally Dynasty.
And it's never ending. It's never fucking ending. And Cody Rhodes, in the middle of the ring, this is how far we've come in wrestling. He went, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself." The whole place went bang. The whole place popped up. The roof flew off. Everyone's loving it. John Cena turns to him. He's just won a match to say, "Cody, I will fight you to win my record-winning title at WrestleMania." He embraces Cody Rhodes, and the camera turns to his face, Jordan, and his face drops. And The Rock puts his finger across his throat, and Cena turns around and boots Cody Rhodes right in his testicles, right in his manhood, and then proceeds to take the belt, hit him over the face, cover his face in blood, and align himself with the bat. It did happen. It happened in Canada on Saturday night.
Yeah, all real, absolutely.
But he has broken the hearts of so many autistic people this week. So many people are now going, hustle, loyalty, disrespect. I'm turning heel this summer because John Cena has as well.
That's just, the thing is that, we know none of it's real, but at the end of the day, when you're autistic and you believe in something, it feels real. It feels real.
Dude.
And it does. It feels like an absolute betrayal because even if it's like a TV show, and there's a character you really, really like and really, really love on the TV show, which essentially is what this is, and that person suddenly turns bad, you feel betrayed by the writers, which essentially no one should be angry at John Cena whatsoever.
Oh no, he will have written this. He will be heavily involved in all of this storytelling.
Okay, so what you're saying is we should be angry with John Cena. Fuck John Cena, even though we can't see him.
Even though we can't see him, if we could, fuck him. But one of the, if you are listening to this and you're a wrestling fan, hit me up because it's a huge time.
I used to be,
dude. It's bigger than it's ever been. Now it's on Netflix. But one of the key moments in wrestling history, I'm boring you with my special interest, but fucking sit down. You'll love it.
Yeah, I'm sitting.
Bash at the Beach, 1996. Hulk Hogan aligned with the Outsiders and started the Attitude Era. Off the back of that is the reason as to why Stone Cold Steve Austin became the anti-establishment, the fuck you, hit your boss, blue collar badass.
Loved him.
That heel turn, Hogan becoming a bad guy, changed the industry for the next 15 years. Cena turning heel, becoming a bad guy. And the whole thing that changed Hogan was he became Hollywood Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Cena now?
Barbados, Hollywood.
Yes. Who knows?
So
no one can see him.
I wonder, exactly, no one knows where John Cena is. No one has ever known where John Cena is. And I think the weirdest, not the weirdest thing, I think what is likely happening within the industry is Cody Rhodes is having the torch passed to him by Cena and saying, look, no, everybody is saying, and you just said it, you are the John Cena of this generation. So I'm going to turn you into a bad guy. So you're no longer the John Cena of this generation. You're just Cody Rhodes.
And that's why I love John Cena. He's going out.
He's sacrificing on his sword.
Dude, he has essentially had a 22-year legacy and he's gone, your turn, kid. And the best way to do it is by, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
But The Rock did it as well. I mean, that's essentially what The Rock's done, because The Rock is actually someone you can compare to Hulk Hogan more so than John Cena.
Yeah.
Because The Rock has been a good guy
the most famous man in the world
about wrestling. Right now, I don't think that's true.
No, maybe not. But
there's someone even more famous for being the worst human ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Rock is like one of the most followed humans on social media, which, as we know, is everything. Like, that's how you get known.
And that's what he said to Cody. He was like, this could all be you, Cody Rhodes. You've just got to give me your soul. And he went, that's all I want, brother. And he tried to butter him up the way that McMahon tried to. Oh, man. One of the things is like...
You're welcome.
Dude, he's been dropping bars like that. That's the thing.
You're welcome. But, I love that movie.
It's like George Lucas. It's poetry. It rhymes. And it's like the parallels of history repeating itself. But one of the things, right, that I kind of love, but also like, oh, you dastardly bastard, is he did Make-A-Wish meetings with kids before the show and then had them in the crowd.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
Turned heel.
Ouch.
And these kids were like, I can't believe you're beating up. And do you know what, dude? WWE has trademarked Break-A-Wish.
That's actually really bad.
But dude, it's crazy. Like, honestly, the way that, like, this is one of the things that I love about wrestling. I know it's not real, but dude, it's like it has a history. And it's one of my long-term special interests, like NBA or South Park is for you. WWE is mine. And seeing Cena turn heel literally broke my brain.
I was obsessed with the WWE, especially when I was a kid. And it was WWF. I had all the toys. I had the ring. I had the wrestling buddies. I had it all.
Yeah.
Like I had the belts. I had everything. Like I was obsessed as much as I am with the Turtles and He-Man. And then you had the 90s with the, and the 2000s, early 2000s. And I was still obsessed with it. And Sylvia and I used to watch it, like SmackDown and Raw. And we used to watch it all the time. And we loved The Rock and we loved Stone Cold and I loved Triple H. And I loved it all. And I used to really love Rey Mysterio as well. I thought
Oh yeah, the Master of the 619. He's still around, dude.
Yeah, and I love the Big Show and Kane and the Undertaker. I can name them all because I knew them all. But then there was that point where I was like, I think it's when The Rock left and Stone Cold left.
Yeah, about 2005-06.
Yeah, and John Cena was just kicking off, and I really liked John Cena as well. But then I kind of just lost interest because my favorite people were no longer in it. So I kind of lost interest, and then it just never got back. And I wanted to get back into it ever since I met you, because I was like, oh, this will be fun. We can talk about it because, you know, it's just another thing that you and I can talk about. But I just haven't got around to it. It's like it has to pique my interest. And I think at some point it might. And I think maybe, and like you said, it's on Netflix. I'll go and give it a watch. And if you're listening, why don't you go and give it a watch? And then, but make sure you listen to us first.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that I will say about wrestling, all it takes is for you to connect with one wrestler. That's all it takes. Give it a try. Watch it. You will see somebody walk through the curtain whose music will hit, and you will go, oh, who is this person? For the majority of people currently, it's Rhea Bloody Ripley, who out of Australia is going to be a huge megastar. She's this generation's China, Michelle McCool, everybody.
I like Stacy Keibler.
Oh God, you really are showing your.
I would be happy to connect with Stacy Keibler.
I bet you would.
I'm a professional base. How dare you, sir?
That's what I'm. You know, you can lock up in wrestling. Why not? I'm absolutely professional. But no, there is absolutely never been a better time for wrestling in general to be your special interest. We're entering a huge golden era. Triple H is now in charge of the company. All of the guys that Jordan were talking about, a lot of them have gone, but a few of them are still in legacy roles. Randy Orton is still kicking around, and this generation
Randy
that's
Orton
come
was
through.
Legendary, man.
But dude, this is the thing. For the first time, Randy Orton is a good guy and John Cena is a heel. Like
Randy Orton was a good guy when I was into wrestling.
So we're talking like, like Evolution.
Yeah, when he first started. To me, he was a kid. He was a kid that was just getting into it.
He's now kind of like 45-year-old veteran, dude.
Oh my God, he's older than I am. That feels really weird.
Yeah, he was the youngest world champion when he beat Chris Benoit. And
I miss Rikishi.
Rikishi's two sons wrestling. Jey Uso's fighting for the world championship.
I am so old. And let's leave it at that because I'm old. I might need a nap now because I'm old. I'm so old. I just look young.
If only I did. Honestly, I turned the camera on the other day, dude, and I was like, oh, fuck, this house has ruined you. I went to my barber's, right? Last hot topic. I went to my barber's. I was like, oh, look at the greys in the front. And he just went, you should see the ones in the back.
Oh, well, I love all your body. Let's bye.
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 Thanks for tuning in to the Neurodivergent Experience. We hope today's episode sparks something for you, whether it's a new idea, a bit of validation, or just a moment of connection. Remember, new episodes are every week, so be sure to join us for the next one for more conversations and insights into the neurodivergent experience. If you've enjoyed this podcast, help us grow. You can do that by rating and reviewing this show. Your support makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just search for the Neurodivergent Experience. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, take care of yourself. You're not alone in this journey.